Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
And greetings, listeners in the United States of America, in Canada, in Europe, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Switzerland, and Kazakhstan, and even in the Czech Republic. And if I missed you, well, I'm sorry, but welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. It is Wednesday, or at least the Wednesday edition. You can listen anytime you want. You're an American, or you're a whatever you happen to be. Unless the commissar comes. So I know some people might, in the world, Jared, they have to hide in their basements and draw the curtains and listen to Student of the Gun Radio and hope that their neighbors don't report them to the commissar for listening. I understand that. And congratulations for your bravery. Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. You made a face like you were going to say a word, but you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't say a word.
But you didn't say a word. Well, wow.
Not by the hair of his chinny chin chin.
Wednesday. Well, Wednesday is obviously SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk Day, or maybe it's not obvious to you, but it is to us. And Jared has something important he wants to. The neighborhood is where we live. Here is. I texted Jaeger. I told him. I said that. I told him who moved in across the street, and I said, "There goes the neighborhood." And he said, "Ha!" No. And we had a CrossFit gym open in our neighborhood across the street from us. And you're like, oh, no. Now, some of you are like, yay, that's great, CrossFit, yay. And then some of you guys are just shaking your heads and you're like, ugh. But we're gonna deal with that. We're going to talk about it today on the SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk. Is there anything I feel like there's something that I should be saying before we get into the SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk, but I don't know what that is. Maybe I should just be quiet and let you do it. What do you think?
We'll let Alex do it.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Everybody gets so excited when they hear that song.
They do. Who can not love King Julian? If you don't move it when King Julian comes on, I don't even know what to say to you.
I think that Wednesday is probably my favorite. Well, other than Friday. Obviously, Friday, the grad program, the bonus hour, is my favorite day of the week.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, but Wednesday, I think, is a close second because of King Julian there. And like Dad said, we're going to talk about CrossFit today. And I guess we titled the Fitness Talk segment, Selfies and Vomit, The Dangers of CrossFit.
Yeah, Selfies and Vomit, The Dangers of CrossFit.
If you guys haven't seen the College Humor video, I think it's just called CrossFit.
The Cult of CrossFit.
Is it? Yeah.
Actually, College Humor has a bunch of CrossFit videos. Did you ever see the one CrossFitters go to yoga?
Yeah.
The two CrossFitters trying to do yoga.
Yeah, that's
They
funny.
get kicked out. Yeah.
There's also one of like Gandhi does yoga or something like that.
College Humor.
Gandhi goes to yoga, yeah. It's pretty funny too.
All right, Jared, come on, you arrogant SOB. Why do you say this that CrossFit is bad or dangerous? But people are exercising and they're losing weight. Mm-hmm. And you're a fitness guru. You're a PT. Why do you think that's bad?
CrossFit itself is not bad. CrossFit itself is actually derived from circuit training, which probably originated in the military. I'm sure it came.
It probably started in like Sparta or Greece or something, you know.
Right, yeah. To condition your body for battle. And nowadays CrossFit sells. CrossFit is a moneymaker, so people that don't really know how to teach the correct way to do CrossFit or the correct way to CrossFit. Is that acceptable?
Circuit training, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't know exactly how to teach people actually to take care of their body and get fit. So there's gyms popping up all over the place and they're called CrossFit gyms, where you can go there and you can basically destroy your body while getting fit for a year or two.
Destroy your body? What do you mean, Jared?
Well, you have these things in your body called joints and ligaments and muscles. If you don't take care of them, if you don't give them the proper, I'm not really sure what to call it. If you don't give them the proper care, then you will tear your muscles, you'll tear your ligaments, you'll rip stuff that doesn't need to be ripped. You'll have to have surgeries. And later in life, when you have grandkids to play with, or when you just want to go like hiking because you're retired, you're not going to be able to do that because you spent your whole younger life, you spent the entirety of your younger years destroying your body. Destroying
your joints. And that's something, we wanted to bring this up because this is going to come across as arrogant, but all right, did you guys see, how many of you saw the picture that we posted on Facebook and Gun District or whatever with the sledgehammer laying on the tire? You did? You saw that? And many of you are like, some of you are like, you got it instantly, and you're like, yeah, I understand. And then others are like, well, that's stupid, or I don't understand why you would do that, or don't you know that it's gonna bounce back up at the speed of sound and hit you in the head, and you're gonna knock yourself out doing that. All right, well, if you do it wrong, yeah, potentially. Jared, tell the audience, I know it's hard to talk about physicality or exercises or explain things with just your words, but give them a quick lowdown about why sledgehammer exercise is actually valuable.
It actually works your entire body. You do cardio while also building your muscles. And if you guys haven't ever done the sledgehammer exercise where and there's a couple different ways to do it. You can do it in sets of a number, or you can do it in sets of a time. So you could do sets of 25, or you could do sets of like a minute at a time. Generally, I put on a song, and I do it for the whole song, and then I move on to something else. It's a little bit more than a minute, but whatever. And you can also do. I should put this on the TV show.
Don't do it on Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, that'll be long.
Or Layla, if you. Or you'll be unconscious.
Or Freebird.
Yeah, don't do it on Freebird.
Do it to Freebird. I should put this on the TV show though, because there's.
You actually should.
Yeah, a couple different ways. You can do higher intensity for a lower time, or you can do a lower intensity for a high time, or there's a couple different ways to do it. But the most important part of doing the sledgehammer is making sure that your form is correct. If you're not doing it correctly, then your body is not reaping the benefits that it could be reaping. And I guess in some things, like in business, you would call that good is the enemy of great. Doing it okay is not as good as doing it perfect or great.
Well, yeah, you're. A lot of people think it's just like you're practicing hammering railroad spikes in or what have you. Well, first of all, talk about your form.
You're doing grip, you're doing arms, you're doing legs, you're doing cardio. You're doing so much for your body at one time. Now, form, for those of you that have done the sledgehammer and you kind of know how to do it, I'm going to run you through what the form that I use. All right, when you're standing there in front of the tire, you point your toes forward towards the tire like you're going to do a squat. You pick up the hammer. What I do is I take it, I'll start with my right hand, and I'll rotate down and up, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe this.
Full extension.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, as you can.
Oh, you can see Jared's doing it right now.
Yeah, so you kind of lift it like you're going to split a piece of wood or drive a spike into the ground with a sledgehammer. And you go all the way above your head as far as your arms can extend. And what I do is I start with my right hand. If I'm doing it with my right hand, I start with my right hand towards the top of the sledgehammer. And after I do the extension, I slide my hand down to the bottom, as far down on the grip as I can, and then I slam it. And while I'm slamming it, I'm also doing a squat. And once it hits the tire, then I switch hands and I grab the head of the hammer with my left hand, and I do the full extension again, slide my hand down to the bottom of the handle. And when you're swinging it down, you're obviously using both hands. You've got one hand all the way down, and the other hand's touching. It's like a baseball bat grip.
Now, if they're using an actual sledgehammer, like from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, how do they hit the tire? They got an old tractor tire. How do they hit it? Like they're driving a
really hard?
No, like they're driving a nail, or
what do you mean?
How should the head be?
With the flat side.
Yeah, you didn't say that.
The flat side.
All right, used it, and why?
Because
just you said so, or
because it's flat. Because I said so. No, but because it's flat and it has a bigger surface area. If you're trying to hit, like if you use I can't really use that as an example. This is a hammer and a nail, but you don't use a flat side for.
No. All right. If you use are there any dangers involved in going traditional, like head down or face down, like you would, like you're hammering a nail?
On the it could bouncing back is a danger, but not as big as people think it is. It's actually bouncing off since the head of the hammer is actually curved. If you hit not exactly flat, then it'll go off to one side or the other. You
can lose control of it. Let's say you got a 12-pound.
You ever slammed your shin with a sledgehammer?
Yeah, you've got a 12-pound. Let's say a 12-pound sledge, and you come straight down on the tire and you don't hit exactly right. Let's say it's angled a little bit because you've been doing it for 2 minutes and now your arms are tired and you don't get a perfect strike. That 12 pounds could deflect off hard left or hard right and hit either someone left or right. Hopefully there's no one. First of all, make sure there's no one standing around you when you're doing this. If you're in a gym and people are like walking around you while you're doing sledge, don't do it, or tell people to get the hell away from you. Now, the danger really, if you do full extension, the danger of it coming back and hitting you is very, very slim to none. What people do is when they just try and do an arm exercise only. Have you seen those people, right, Jared, where they just take it and it's like they're trying to pound a nail, and they lean over it and they just come down.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to like completely and totally nuke this, but for whatever reason, people don't get it. And I don't understand why people don't get it. But sadly, and Jared and I discussed this off air, there are a lot of YouTube videos or training videos or whatever where people are using incorrect form or poor form. And
that's how you hurt yourself.
And so people go out and they emulate that. And that is the problem with the CrossFit gyms in America. It's not that CrossFit and let's just call it what it is. It's circuit training that somebody trademarked a cool name for. Circuit training has been around, like I said, for centuries, maybe thousands of years. I would bet you if you went back to like the Spartan training arenas or whatever, you would find circuit training. That's not new. There's nothing new under the sun. What happened was a couple of slick dudes got together and like, man, if we come up with a trademark name, we'll trademark this and tell everyone that if you want to use this or talk about it or do it, you have to pay us money to do it. So they came up with this cool, slick trademark name, and now everybody's all excited about it. Well, like anything else, they're so excited and they want to make money. So Susie or Sam, they rent a space and they open a CrossFit gym and start making money because the masses. This CrossFit right now is I've been alive for 40 plus years.
It's like Krav Maga,
and I've seen fitness trends come and go my entire life. All you older folks, when I say this, you'll be like, yeah, that's right. When I was young, tennis was hot and jogging. When I was a little kid, that's when people actually started jogging and calling it something. Before that, they just called it running around and getting exercise. But then they're like, no, we're going to jog. And they're like, well, what is that? Well, you go and you buy expensive clothes and you run. Okay. Tennis was another big one. Then tennis morphed into racquetball, which morphed into this, which morphed into that. We've seen fitness goes in big trends. And right now, the trend is CrossFit. You're like, and I know you hardcore CrossFit guys out there, you cultists who had to stop taking selfies to listen to the show, or maybe you take selfies while you're listening to the show between vomiting. You're like, this is not a trend. This is not a fad. This is real. Shut up. If I could get in a time machine and go forward 5 years, there will be something else that is the new cool. Because it's not just Americans, it's humans. Humans have to have the new cool. Even though it's something that we've been doing for 1,000 years, it has a new cool name. And there will be a new cool name for some new cool exercise in the next 5 years. But it'll just be something that we've done before. In the meantime, though, and we talked to Paul Howe about this when we were up at CSAT. It's the danger of the CrossFit fad is exactly what Jared said in the beginning. It's people doing severe damage to their joints, to their lower backs, their upper backs, their knees, and their ankles. They're damaging them, scarring them up, doing these exercises that, you can. Jared, is it possible to do physical fitness and exercise without destroying your joints?
Yes.
Oh, really?
That is 100%
I thought you had
possible.
to destroy your knees and your joints in order to exercise.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you could actually exercise and get your body fit and make yourself more healthy without destroying your body.
Without
I
destroying
know
your
that's
joints.
kind of a weird concept.
It's crazy.
But really, I equate. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to take care of themselves when they're working out, because it goes back to having common sense, to thinking about if something hurts while you're doing it, if it legitimately hurts, not if it's discomfort.
See, that's the thing is people today, you hit the nail on the head with your sledgehammer. People don't understand the difference between discomfort and pain.
Yeah.
Your body, if you have sharp pain in an area, that's your body saying, "Whoa, slow down, pump the brakes." Jared, do you think people that do CrossFit think that pain is a part of it and that they should just ignore it?
I don't know.
And there's a difference between soreness and, like, sore muscle pain is a good thing, actually, because it means that your muscles are regenerating. Yeah. But sharp pain is not. You remember a friend of ours that you brought in? It was a friend of the show, a friend of the gym, and he came in and you started working with him doing physical training. And he thought he had torn, like, muscles in his chest and went to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Because it hurt.
Yeah.
And what it turned out it was the soreness that happens when you use a muscle that you haven't been using, and now it's sore. But
I forgot about that.
he went to the doctor. He stopped exercising because he thought he had torn a muscle in his chest, and went to the doctor, got MRIs and all this stuff, and the doctor's like, "No, there's no tear. You just used the muscle, and now it needs to grow." And we laugh, and I laugh, but the thing is when you have people whose whole lives have been soft and comfortable, and they've never had to experience any type of discomfort, then they do for the first time, it's this strange shock to them. They don't understand it.
When I first started training people, I assumed that people knew the difference between discomfort and real pain. So if somebody told me they were hurting, I would be like, "Oh, okay, well, let's not do this then. Let's do something else, because I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want you to be out." If you hurt your body, you're going to be out recovering for 3 months to a year or more, depending on what you do. So you don't want to injure your body. But if you are just in discomfort, if your body is just getting used to working out, so you have a discomfort soreness, then you need to push through that. And actually, when you get sore, the easiest way to become unsore or not sore anymore is to keep working out, keep working those muscles, and especially stretching them.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I first started teaching people, I gave them the benefit of the doubt, because I didn't know that people didn't know the difference between pain and discomfort.
Well, and that leads me right into the next topic or into an additional topic and you say, well, Paul, I'm not a fitness guy. I don't want to be fit, or I don't care, or I'm already fit enough. It's not so much a physical thing as it is mental. And that's where we're at as a nation right now. We have a nation of tax slaves and peasants that have never been uncomfortable. They fear discomfort. And so anyone who comes along, any presidential candidate or politician or whomever comes along and promises to keep them from ever being uncomfortable, they will get right behind that guy, because in their minds nothing should ever threaten their ability to use their, iPhone on demand or whatever. And that's really sad. That's where we're at right now. Why do we have the problems we have as a nation? Because we have a bunch of weak tax slave type people. We have people that are so afraid to be uncomfortable for just 5 minutes. I don't know how we're going to get around it, but all right, let's move on. Thank you, Jared, for that. Selfies and vomit, the dangers of CrossFit. So I guess the moral of the story is exercise is good and circuit training is good, but you need to not destroy your joints while you're doing it.
Here's what you need to do every week. You need to stretch. You need to do that every day. Stretch every day. Meditate. Work out. Do some kind of strength and conditioning. Do some kind of cardio. And then stretch. That's the 4 things you need to do every week.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, thank you obviously to SWAT Fuel for sponsoring the SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk. And if you're listening to this and it is still February, you can use the 15% off code PREPARED at SWATfuelstore.com. So do it.
Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma, wir sind die Oma. Check das aus. Bismillah, Islam ist die Wahrheit.
Do you have to mix that fresh every time?
Yeah, I mix it fresh every time.
You mix it. Jared mixes that fresh every time. Oh, that's obviously a Religion of Peace update. And I've got a story here that I'm going to talk about real quick. It's from redflagnews.com. And I'm going to read you the exact title as it is written. This is not me editorializing. This is the exact title of the story. Idiot liberal hitchhikes through Middle East to prove Muslims are people. Was raped and murdered instead. We as conservatives get a bad rap. This is in the story here, and I'm not sure. It says Red Flag News, but it doesn't have an author's name. But we as conservatives often get a bad rap when we say Muslims and Islam don't operate under peaceful ideologies. Liberals would argue that they do. Once again, liberals are proven wrong, but unfortunately, what it took was for someone to die in the worst way imaginable. Here's a shocking story. The naked body of Giuseppina Pasqualino de Marino, also known as Pippa Bacca, was found in the bushes near the northern city of Gebze in Turkey. And it says an Italian woman who was hitchhiking from Italy to Israel to promote world peace. That's what's right. She was hitchhiking from Italy to Israel to promote world peace, was raped and murdered by Muslims in Turkey.
How is hitchhiking promoting world peace?
I don't know. Hippies are insane people. They're liberal idiots. They don't operate in the realm of reality. She wanted to show that she could put her trust in the kindness of local people. Turkish police have detained a man in connection with the killing, said the man led them to the body. Now, you're like, man, Paul, you're mean for bringing this up. No, this just goes to show how liberalism is a mental disorder. We have, how many times, Jared, have we pointed out cases where people were mauled by wild animals, bears, wolves, coyotes, you name it. Wild animals like killed and mauled people because, why? Well, because they have no fear of them. People have become so soft. And they live in this weird illusion of, if I think it will happen. And if I say it will happen. All we need to do is hold hands and love each other. And all the evil people in the world will go away. I don't mean the bear any harm. I don't know why the bear would eat me. It's the same thing. It's like, well, Paul, this wasn't a bear. This was a Muslim missionary here. No, it's the same thing. We've lost this natural fear of predators. We see evil but don't recognize evil. We see danger but we don't recognize danger. Or we think that we can use our will and our feelings to eliminate danger. You can't. And this woman paid for it with her life. But fear not, I'm sure someone out there is already making excuses and apologies for the monster that raped and murdered her. And you're like, yeah, but the religion of peace and brotherly love known as Islam, the death cult there, you can't pin rapes on the... Hello, world, wake up. This is just one more example, but what do I know? Here's what I know. Century Arms is the sweetest smelling arms maker in the United States of America, and they make AKs, and you should go ahead and pick up one if you're an American. If you're a slave living in a slave nation, you can look at pictures of them. So there you go. Crossbreed holsters, if you're not carrying a gun, you're wrong, but they can help you fix yourself if you go to crossbreedholsters.com. Frog Lube, it just works. It's green, it's minty fresh, and you can pick it up at Brownells. And while you're at Brownells picking up yourself some Frog Lube, you can go ahead and pick up Duracoat. Duracoat firearm finish products. It's not just the colors. If you have a cracked, nasty, old-looking wood stock, they can help you refinish it. They can, yeah. And if you have a blue steel shotgun or a blue steel pistol or rifle or whatever, and you want to re-blue it, you can pick up a new product that they call DuraBlue. And it's like a miracle in a can, I tell you what. All right, moving on to the main topic. Ban all gun sales. That's the topic for today. And according to an expert apparently from MLive. Now, MLive is in Michigan, mlive.com. And we have a story here from a person named Bryn. It's Bryn, not, I'm going to say Bryn, because it wouldn't be Brian unless someone is like trying to creative spell.
I think it is Brian.
Bryn is pronounced Brian, not Bryn.
Probably, yeah.
Whatever. Bryn Mickle.
It's like Ryan, our guy Ryan.
R-Y-N-E. Is it Ryan or Ryan?
It's Ryan.
Ryan?
Ryan.
All right, I'm not going to get into pronunciation semantics with you right now. But Bryn Mickle wrote an op-ed piece on February 22nd for the Flint Journal, and it's republished on mlive.com, so everyone can read it. And Bryn starts out with, where was the good guy with a gun when an Uber driver shot and killed 6 people in Kalamazoo Saturday night? Where was the good guy with a gun when a mentally unstable man shot a Bay City cop Friday before turning the gun on himself? And where are the good guys with guns when the estimated, I love it when people estimated, 30-some, so anywhere from 30 to 39, I guess, 30-some people are slain by firearms every day in America? Jared, do you think that the firearms are slaying people, or do you think that there are humans attached to the firearms? I don't know. We're going to give the humans a pass here, because it's not the problem isn't with humans, it's with hardware. Nowhere to be found, says Bryn. And why? Because there are more bad guys with guns doing wrong than there are civilian good guys with guns trying to stop them. According to Bryn here, who is obviously an expert in this. If the shooters in Kalamazoo, Bay City, and Flint had been carrying Korans with them, here we go. We have a reporter who is apologizing for Muslims. We would hear people shouting from the mountaintops that we need to crack down on radical Islam. No, it's a death cult, but whatever. Instead, they carried pistols. And the only thing we hear are crickets. I don't actually hear any crickets, but okay. So how about this? An immediate ban on handgun sales until America gets its gun problem sorted out. The Congressional Research Service estimates that there are 30 million guns already in America, according to NPR, National Public Radio. Jared, should we get our facts from NPR? I'm going to go ahead and say that NPR is just a little bit slanted towards the progressive, socialist, liberal state policy. But whatever. Nearly 11 million guns were manufactured in 2013 alone. Congratulations for finding statistics there, Bryn. Even the gun nuts should be able to get by on 30 million guns.
300 million.
Oh, I'm sorry, 300 million guns until we find a solution to this epidemic of senseless death. If history tells us anything, here's what will happen in the wake of the Kalamazoo death spree. Nothing. Flags will be lowered, which is actually wrong. People will shake their heads in sadness, and everyone will say what a shame it is, but we can't figure out a way to keep guns out of the wrong hands. But there is a way. Stop selling them. Tell the NRA that gun sales are taking a hiatus until we get this problem solved. And you better believe the gun lobby will become part of the solution instead of a staunch advocate of the status quo. Oh. Hey,
we've actually been saying that we don't need more guns for a while now.
We don't need more guns.
Nope.
We need more courage in America. We need more bravery in America. We need more of that. See what Johnny Dick Nozzle? Can I say that? Am I allowed to say Johnny Dick Nozzle on the radio?
Sure.
Okay, I just did. What Johnny Dick Nozzle here does in his own, he defeats his own argument with his argument. So, according to this dude, there are 300 million guns in America already. And so his solution for keeping them out of the hands of bad people is to shut down all sales of all guns immediately until we get it sorted out. Because apparently the only way for bad people to get guns, because according to Johnny Dick Nozzle's, according to his story here, according to him as an expert, there are more bad guys with guns doing wrong than there are civilian good guys with guns trying to stop them, according to his expert opinion. So, if that's the case, Johnny Dick Nozzle, and I've said it so many times, I guess there's no going back now. If that's the case, if there are more bad guys with guns than good guys trying to stop them, how is shutting down the lawful and legal sale of an object going to stop the bad guys with guns? Jared, help me out on that because I'm not really sure how that works.
I don't know. This is ridiculous.
According to Bryn, it says, here we go. America's a great country. We put a man on the moon, invented the internet, and even created the cell phone. Can anyone honestly say we can't find a way to keep guns out of the wrong hands? Enough is enough. We need to stop wrapping ourselves in the Second Amendment and own up to the fact that our gun problem is getting worse and will only continue to get worse until we deal with it. Ban gun sales until we get this right, or eventually there won't be anyone left to ignore the problem. Yep, there you go. From the genius pen of Bryn Mickle, who writes for mlive.com. Congratulations, Bryn, for your very, very thoughtful diatribe about how we stop bad people from doing bad things with inanimate objects. Hey, Bryn, quick question for you. Did the crime of murder, was it invented did it start or begin with the invention of the firearm? What, you say no? Obviously, don't be stupid. We know that people were being murdered long before the invention of the firearm. Okay. If we go, let's go do some history. Let's do some history lessons. Let's do mass genocide. I'm going to go ahead and duck it. Genocide by nation. All right. The history of genocide. Now, what is genocide? Genocide is mass murder. Okay? That's where not one, not two, not four, not six, where thousands and millions of people are murdered, killed with guns and gas and bombs and starved to death and so forth. Let's talk about the history of genocide here on planet Earth. Some of the leading people who were involved in genocide were Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Pol Pot, Mao Zedong. The worst genocides, the worst mass murders in human history. There was this crazy dude named Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan murdered, I can't even imagine the number. I suppose I could go in and then they have rough figures. The murder by the Armenians. The Armenians murdered by, the Ottoman Turk Empire. The greatest commissions of mass murder in the history of the world. Let's see, mass murders. Poland, 3 million. The Baltic countries, Germany and Austria. And so, can we be honest with each other? Let's be honest with each other. When it comes to mass murder, no one quite does it like totalitarian regimes. They do it great. And what do totalitarian regimes never, ever, 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 ever do, Mr. Mickle? Do they surrender their guns to be fair to everybody? I'm sorry that these people died, and it's horrible that they did. But you know what, Mr. Mickle? Disarming more good people does not in any shape, form, or by any stretch of the imagination protect the innocent. Please explain to me, Mr. Mickle, how halting gun sales, let's just say you get your wish, and tomorrow, Executive Order 3795 goes out, and every gun shop in the United States of America is forced to close their doors and stop selling guns until we figure it out, till we figure out the problem. According to your own story, there's already 30 million guns in circulation. So how do we keep the bad people from having those guns? When we know for a fact, if you want to go into FBI stats and so forth, that the majority of crimes committed with guns are committed by either A, people that were forbidden by law to possess them anyway. Go to Chicago. How many people were murdered in Chicago during the last week? Were they murdered by people who went into gun stores and bought guns, showed their ID, filled out the paperwork, or were they committed by people who were forbidden by law to possess a gun anyway? Jared, did some crazy person like me just say, was it Monday or last week, or that there's two ways to stop someone from harming you?
Yes.
To have the physical ability to stop them,
Yep.
or they're stopped or prevented from doing the bad thing by their what? Their own morality. Mm-hmm. So is this a hardware problem or is it a software problem? Is it a problem with the availability of inanimate objects, or is it a problem because we have a nation filled with monsters who are not held accountable in any shape or fashion for their actions? Because every time monsters go out, you know what this dick nozzle just did? This dick nozzle just wrote another article, one of thousands, exonerating and excusing the behavior of the human and instead putting the blame on an inanimate object. You want to know why this stuff is going to continue to happen, Mr. Mickle? Because people like you, instead of holding humans accountable for their behavior, instead deflect the responsibility onto something else. Somebody tell Mr. Mickle that it's people just like him that perpetuate this and ensure that it will continue to happen again and again and again. Because they don't have the guts, the courage, or the fortitude to hold humans responsible for their behavior. Oh, you can't do that because if you hold human beings responsible for their own behavior, then you don't need the state. You don't need the progressive left to hold your hand from cradle to grave. And we can't have that. We can never allow humans to have responsibility for their own lives. We can't hold humans responsible for their behavior. No. Mr. Mickle, you dick nozzle, the whole entire reason that this is going to keep happening is because of people like you and your grand ideas. Put that in your pipe and smoke it for a second. All right, kid, you know what? I'm all done talking.
I was just going to say real quick, this dude said that there were 30-some people slain every day by guns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 30-some people are slain by firearms every day in America. Well, I just did a quick search, and I found out that the most common number of the search that I found from traffic fatalities was 38,300 people in 2015, which equals out to be 104, almost 105 people every single day are slain by cars. So should we ban the sale of cars as well?
No, and I know that the liberal progressive lie of 30 people died from firearms-related deaths. And what they don't ever tell you is that they include suicides and justifiable shootings and police-involved shootings, and also gang-related shootings where gang people kill other gang people with stolen, illegal, unlawful guns. But we don't want to use logic and sense when we're dealing with the progressive left. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Student of the Gun Radio. I'm all done talking. Jared, give them their homework assignment, and we'll talk to them tomorrow.
Go to studentofthegun.com, studentofthegun.com. Click on the orange button, fill in your name and your email address, and get the 7 training tips that could save your life.